Hello, you guys, and welcome back. Happy Wednesday as you're listening to this. I
I
am,
was like, Wednesday.
oh yeah, I am ready for a rejuvenating episode because the last couple times we recorded, all great stuff, but we haven't just had like a session.
Just me and
And
you,
yeah,
like,
we need it. We need to reconnect.
yeah.
We need to grow together. No, I'm like, genuinely, these types of Fridays as we record give me good energy for the
Life.
rest of the day.
Hmm.
So I'm here for it.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel like I have been like on investigator mode like for the past month, like with
Literally,
Herbalife. And we've gotten some really good feedback from the Herbalife deep dive, and we have more stuff, more deep dives coming for next month. Should we start previewing the deep dive for the next month when we finish the first month?
I mean, if we know what we're going to talk about, why not? I mean, sometimes we might have
Mm-hmm.
no clue what we're going to do, but if we know, I think it could be really helpful because if you're coming for the deep dives, and you stay for us, then you
Oh,
might be
yeah.
incentivized to listen. You're like, ooh, I loved that deep dive. I want to
Mhm.
hear more about XYZ. So, I mean, I haven't done a ton of research yet, but Maddie and I were talking about what we want to cover in the deep dives because it's not just us sitting here talking about something interesting. Like we want to bring you information and inform you and empower your decision making. So in the next deep dive next month in August, we will be talking about greens powders and that supplement phenomenon, if you will,
Mhm. Mhm.
because you could scroll on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. Everybody and their mother is drinking some sort of greens powder. A lot of the
Mhm.
time, people are sponsored, which if you truly believe in a product, being sponsored is totally fine. But
Mhm.
I have a feeling that some of the products people are just anybody's getting sponsored. So it's like, do all of these people really care? Like
Yeah.
have a good informed background of this product and truly believe in it? Probably not. So we're going to dive into greens because
Mhm. Not
so
right
many
now.
no, not right now. No, not right now. But my passion behind it is so many women are having like gut issues or constipation or they believe it will help them lose weight.
Mhm.
And guys, we're here to like get rid of the BS. So that's going to be super fun. Like my little,
Mhm.
as you said, your investigative brain.
Yeah.
Like my notes at like I'm literally going to be like scrolling like crazy as I'm doing the deep dive. And I kind of love that. Like I'm cosplaying a journalist.
I like that. I like that. And if this is your first non-deep dive episode because you started with Herbalife Part 1, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome
Yeah.
to the fun episodes where we just like have random shit to talk about that sometimes is about health, sometimes is not. But we just use our gift of gab and talk
Yeah.
about random
Yeah.
shit.
I am a certified yapper. Did you see the whole we talked about it, of course, but we haven't talked about it on the pod. Brooke
Mhm.
Schofield and like the Clinton Kane drama on TikTok.
Oh, how did she date him?
First
Oh,
of all, okay, I could kind of understand it, not because I peace and love, I don't find him attractive, and that's
not for
okay.
me.
And
Not for
also,
me.
he's really manipulative and like gross. So,
Yes.
like, who cares?
Yes. Yes.
But when you're in like not a great place, and she was talking about this on Canceled and in her TikToks, like she was like, I was unmedicated. That was not a good time in my life. I
Yeah.
could tell you when I was unmedicated, not making great decisions. Just like
Mhm.
you fall into these things. So you know what, Brooke? I don't fault you. That was a little bit crazy, but
Yeah.
he's crazier. So I can understand how you were manipulated. And that was
Yeah.
crazy. I remember I was like mad at James for some reason. He was like annoying the fuck out of me. So I was
Mhm.
like upstairs in our bedroom and like I see one, two, three, and I'm sitting there watching it. And I was like changing the sheets on the bed. And I obviously had to stop because I was watching it. And then he comes up and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, oh my God, I need to tell you about this. Like, I'm dying. And he's like, what? Like, he's here for the drama because he knows it makes me happy to be a yapper.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Brooke Schofield, what is her like? She's a TikToker,
Schofield, I think.
Schofield,
It's
TikToker and
spelt Schofield.
podcaster.
So she does the canceled podcast with Tana Mojo, and
Mhm.
originally they were not friends. Um,
Ah,
Brooke had, I think, hooked up with Tana's boyfriend or a person that she was hooking up with, but I
okay.
don't think Brooke knew that Tana was involved with this person.
Mhm.
Tana did a story time on it like a while ago, and then they started doing canceled, and then they stopped for some reason, and now it's back up, and they have this whole thing going together. It's fabulous. And she's also, I would say, a TikToker, not so much an influencer, but more of like a podcaster, TikToker, pseudo famous because of Tana. Because like they're,
Ah,
they're really good friends. That's kind of, I think, how she popped off. Um,
gotcha.
and so this guy, Clinton Kane, is a musician kind of coming up, and he
Mm,
just lied about everything. Like he has this fake Australian accent. He
yep.
lied about like the death of his family. Like I believe his dad actually did pass away, but he said his mother and his brother also
In the
passed
same
away.
year. Didn't he say
Yeah,
that
like
in the same
all in
year?
1 year. And then he lied about his age to her. There was so much manipulation. The story was always changing. And he went on this guy, Zach Sang's podcast, and told like the whole story, and things were kind of different.
Mhm.
And that was like Brooke's like big moment of like, I should look into this a little bit like more. And so she literally was playing journalist. And so if you haven't seen it, it is not too late to join the party and just like go on her TikTok, because honestly, it's an eye opener, ladies or men, whoever. Like you have to not just like blindly trust people. Like if they are love bombing you and gaslighting you, there are signs to look out for. And obviously, when you're in a situation like that, it's probably really hard to see that. But just this is a really helpful example. Unfortunately, this is something Brooke experienced, but you might be able to like pull some signs out of this and learn something. Cause I was like, damn, like that is crazy. What a crazy man.
Yeah, that was, and I would say like, she when you were saying like she was kind of famous because of Tana, but I feel like she really does like hold up her own because she makes funny, good
Oh,
content and you know,
100%.
um
100%. Yeah,
but
I think she's
speaking
like
okay.
genuinely funny. I love her.
Yeah, same. But speaking of relationships, we are actually going to have a relationship coach on. I found her on Threads. I'm not gonna name any names yet until she's booked and ready to go.
Booked and
But that
busy.
booked and busy. But that will be in January. So I'm
Mm.
excited for that because we've been wanting to have on a relationship coach, as to about, well, one married, about to be married. It's not like we have a lot of experience or needing help with that. But I'm sure I think she specializes more in getting into relationships and things like that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there's stuff that we could, benefit from that. So that'll be exciting in January.
I'm super excited. And while I know she was more specializing and talking about how hard it is to date during like these times, and it's so much easier to be like catfished and ghosted and all
Hmm.
of these things that like we literally have no experience to. We are baby
Truth.
infants around this sort of stuff. We are like,
Truth.
what's a dating app? Like when my sister was here, we were having fun and we talked about this on our interview with her. But I was
Hmm.
just like on her Hinge, and she's showing me how all this works. She's like, "Can you help me like beef up my profile?" Like, we're going through all of this.
Hmm.
And we're talking about it with James later, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I've literally never even had like I've never downloaded a dating app on my phone." And he's like, "Yeah, I think I
Same.
had Tinder for like a year, but like,
Oh.
you know." And I was like, "Yeah, like we are like so inexperienced." So it will be super interesting just to hear some advice and also like to be able to like share it with you guys if you're listening and you're like dating sucks in 2024. Like dating sucks. Hopefully this will be really good information because I'm sorry, we can't help you much there. I'm so sorry. I wish
No.
I could. I have no advice. I'm like, we've been out of the game too long. I'm like a
What is the game? Ooh, you
grandma.
froze. Did
I
I
I
freeze? Who
froze. Hello?
froze? Yeah.
No,
Am
you're
I
there.
okay? I'm here?
You're here. I'm not frozen. Are you
Okay.
frozen?
It froze, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
Oh
That was weird.
shit. That was
We're
crazy. That okay, that was the universe telling us to shut the fuck up about dating because we have no idea what we're talking about.
uh, literally.
I'm dead. But so I
Uh,
wanted to you were telling me about well, I looked it up too, but Ballerina Farm, the whole kind of
yeah.
article and conversation that's been coming out with that. First and last, I just want to know if you've ever seen this on your TikTok. And if you haven't, then
Mhm,
like that's fine. Have you
mhm.
ever seen those videos? It's like your bedroom based off of like what medication you're on.
No. Why am I blurry? I freaking hate this camera.
Just lean back and then come forward.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Lean
Yep.
back.
Yep.
It's still blurry,
Lean
isn't
back.
it?
I don't know. I can't tell. Is it my eyes or is it maybe to do a little bit of this? There you
Is
go.
that
It's
better?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
That's
looks
better.
it's good
It looks
enough.
blurry. I can't even tell. I think it's my eyeballs.
Eyeballs are blurry.
So there's this like it's like random people will do it, but like you scroll and it's like May, June, or oh no, that's for your birthday months, but it'll be like Lexapro, Prozac, Lamictal, and it's like a different room. And I was straight up insulted. Obviously, it's like a joke, but like people in the comments were like, why is Lexapro like a dungeon? I've had a wonderful experience. I need a better Lexapro room. And I was like just like scrolling on it like as I was eating lunch and I'm just dying laughing and I'm like it's kind of like the for you page phenomenon where everybody's is like so crazy different and I'm like does
Uh,
anybody else see these because like I always stop and scroll because I'm just like this is kind of funny.
that's a very much of a you thing because
It's a
I
niche
that's
thing.
not showing that's not showing
You're
up
like
on mine.
never seen it. If you've seen it, drop it in the comments because I know I'm not alone. There are a fuck ton of comments, and maybe you're one of those comments.
Maybe you are.
Mm,
Speaking of mental health, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I was just on a podcast called the Overwatch Collective,
mm.
and they provide mental health support to first responders.
Oh
And
wow.
so, like people in police, Marines, X, Y, and Z. And the guy, I should have verified like what his position was just so I like understood correctly. But I don't know if he's not the founder or I don't know if he's just like an employee or co-owner, but someone in the chain of the Overwatch Collective. He was interviewing me. We were just talking, and I was asking about like because I have a friend who well, Joel's friend who he's a police officer, and we were talking about like when they go through traumatic events, on the job because I'm sure they do every day, and sometimes they have to get cleared to go back into
Yeah.
work because of something traumatic happening, and their what do I don't know what you call it where they work at their whatever it's called. It has like a
Like a
specific name.
precinct?
Sure, I don't know. Wherever they're little people, like if you like I don't
Like a
know what a
police
precinct.
station? It's a precinct. I think it's a precinct. I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to
I
find
have
like
words.
the fancy word for it, and you're just like, yeah, I get you.
They're little people. That
You're
made
like
no sense.
where they all do the group huddle.
Okay. Yes. There, and they will only provide maybe like 5 sessions. Like, okay, here's your 5 sessions, and once you're
Yeah.
cleared, you're good to go, and then you're just like off on your own dealing with this stuff. So anyway, I asked him like if you were to seek more help or see a some type of mental health therapist, like is that looked down upon? And he was, bless you. And he was like, yeah, if we find out that you're like, if and that the way he said it, I almost thought like he was looking down a little bit on it because different generation. This man was older, like in his how old is he? 40s probably. So I kind of got the feeling he was like boohooing it in a way, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, if we find out that like you're, seeing a therapist, like we can't trust you. Like how am I gonna be able to trust you behind my back? Like, like you're gonna have my back. And I was like, number one, you were from a different generation.
Wait, I
Um,
thought they were like pro mental health.
no, no. A lot of from what he
Wait, what were you
said,
saying? Oh, is this Joel's friend?
yes. So I
Oh,
brought up,
sorry. I thought this was the person you were on the
oh
podcast with.
no,
Because I was like,
no,
wait,
no,
that
no,
doesn't make
no.
any sense. Okay, okay, I
Yes.
understand now. So he
Yes.
is a cop himself, and
Yes.
okay,
And I
I
was
understand now.
asking, like, can you do that? And like from what the vibe I got from himself and from what he
Sure.
was saying is that like if you are caught going to get mental health, and this is not me talking for every police station in the world. This is a
Yeah,
small one I'm not even gonna name. But the vibe I got was like if you are found to be going to get therapy, you are not like you aren't equipped to be on the job. And I'm like, that
yeah,
makes you such a better person in general. So I asked the guy Jesse, I don't know what his last name was, but I asked Jesse, I was like, is that like common? He's like, I'm not a police officer. Greg is a police officer, the guy who runs Overwatch Collective. But yeah, he would say that that happens a lot. And I'm like, that's so sad because getting help in any capacity just makes you a better person in general. Like,
yeah,
why does it have to take away from your ability to show up as a police officer? And he goes, that's why we do what we do, because you can contact us and we set everything up. So
yeah.
they have I think I need to look at the stat. Let me find it really quick, but they have helped so many police officers, first responders, EMT. Where is it? I gotta find the stat. It's
But
crazy.
like,
Oh,
does
okay.
it surprise you that it's this mentality? I mean, obviously you got
No,
a small sample, but I mean,
no.
it is not surprising at all because the majority of cops are like white men, and that's just a fact. And there, I feel, is just this stigma, especially for
Mhm.
a majority of men, that like therapy is weak and
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
need it. And especially when you're in a position, any position where there is trauma, right? Like if you are
Mhm.
deployed in the military, you come home with PTSD, it is okay to seek therapy then, right? But
Mhm.
when you're working in maybe really crazy situations as a cop, and then it's like, okay, but it's not okay to get therapy then, like that's crazy. Like I'm really glad this organization exists and it's run
Yeah.
by a man because it opens the
Mhm.
door and breaks the stigma. And like when you're saying like, oh, they get caught, like as if it's like they're doing something crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's therapy. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Wow, that's really
So
interesting.
I don't know if this was just for the year or if
Yeah.
this was overall, but they helped 254 first responders, military, and family. And then they gave, not them specifically, but connected these people with 2,117 therapy sessions. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That's
That's so
amazing.
cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And like I was even talking to him, like he was a Marine and he never saw combat, like the
Okay.
time he was deployed. And he said he struggled a lot with when he came home was like he didn't know what to do with himself because he spent so many years of literally just getting paid to be told what to do. Work out at
That is
this
a
time.
that's a
Hmm.
huge
Problem. Yeah. Like
problem,
getting
obstacle once you separate.
Yeah, and he said, like, he would literally 0800, 0900, like, everything what to
Yep.
do. When he came home, he was just like, "What do I do with myself?" And I was like, "Why didn't you, like, seek like, what was stopping you?" He was like, "My pride and my ego, like, from
Yep.
asking, like, for help." And I was like, "Oh, that's such, like, it was a really cool interview, and I really
Yeah.
loved, like, being able to talk to them and just help spread awareness because we love mental health here, and,
Yeah.
for people
Hell
that are
yeah.
serving our country, they need more help. So I liked that.
Hell yeah. And, I have a lot of people in my life that have had really traumatic um experiences being in the military. And just knowing that a majority of them actually do seek help because it's like they're
Mm,
living with incredible PTSD.
mm,
And some of them are the the like these macho guys that are just, kind of
mhm,
obnoxious at times, will be real, but them seeking help. To me, I'm just like, that is a really good thing because
mhm,
I would look at you and assume that you would not be the type of person that would go to therapy. And here you are. And that makes me really proud for you because you've experienced some crazy shit and you don't
mhm,
deserve to just sit and suffer alone in that.
mhm,
You don't have to do that. And I hope there are more people that do seek out therapy and maybe they just don't talk about it. And that's okay. That gets to be okay. They don't have to be open
yeah,
about it, but I really
yeah,
hope that that changes because when you're in these types of intense jobs, you deserve to get that help. So I love that. I'm
I
excited to listen to
agree.
that interview. That'll be
Yeah,
good.
I'll definitely link that. I don't know when it comes out. I was trying to look at our messages. I don't know when it comes out exactly, but yeah, that was a really cool interview, and I'm glad I got to, talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
That's awesome. So before we have this is going to be a little bit of a shorter ep, which like hurts my heart because we're already
I
like
know.
almost done and I hate that. Like we are yappers till the day we die, but let's talk about the Ballerina Farms
Mhm.
story that came out. So you brought this to my attention. You sent me a TikTok of I read an article. No, Maddie sent me a TikTok and
I
I
did read an article.
no,
New York Times.
you know that phenomenon, like, oh, I read an article, and it's like, I
Yeah,
saw a video on TikTok, but I don't want to say
yeah.
that. And I had only seen this content very randomly. Like, I would see a cooking video or something. I didn't even register what the name was, nothing. I just like would see it and just kind of scroll. But what can you break it down a little bit more? Because I'm going to be honest, I was reading the article halfway through and then I got a phone call and then I fell and I
That's
think I
A-okay.
sprained my ankle so that I stopped reading it. I was like embarrassed. Like, you guys, I fell. I literally fell in public. I screamed fuck because it hurt so bad. I couldn't get off the ground
Uh-huh.
for like 5 minutes. No one came to me. I was in a public setting. What the fuck? I was
But
literally in a public setting.
who would come to you to help with that?
Anybody just to be like, are you okay? Like
I
if I
guess
saw
so.
somebody fall, like I literally like I was walking like this. Dude, wow. It was maybe it was dramatic because I'm dramatic, but it really fucking hurt.
Uh,
And nobody was like, Miss Ma'am, are you okay? I was just there by myself looking like a loser. I was like, "Oh, this is so embarrassing."
okay, I was trying to get the article up. We got it.
Perfect. Perfect.
So I went into so this could be a deep dive in itself, honestly. And
Literally. Maybe we
this
can cover it in entirety.
yeah, maybe. I was trying to see why do I forget the her husband, what is he an heir to? A airlines.
JetBlue,
JetBlue. Okay. I thought so. I'm like, is it blue
douchebag.
something? Um, so this interested me a lot, and this is like a quick kind of cover of it because we are limited on time here. But this interested me a lot because when I saw her come up a lot on my feed, it was her cooking, like you said. Like
Yep.
her name is Hannah Nealman. I
Neilman.
don't have Nealman. And I was like, oh, like what a cool life. Like she's on this farm. She's very rustic house. Like I've
So
seen
people
her.
were mad at her because of that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of controversy in the beginning when I saw her that
Right
she's what is it?
before before it came out like what she was, what is going down. But
Cosplaying.
cosplay, yeah,
That's
cosplaying is like,
yes.
middle class and being in this farm, but then like her oven was like fucking one of the most expensive ovens and no
Yes.
hate, no shade. I mean, I kind of liked how her kitchen looked and
Yeah, like
was she
whatever.
I don't know if she was ever like acting as if they were poor. I think she just,
No, I
she's
just
like a real big trad wife, which I don't necessarily, I'm not going to be a trad wife myself, but I
Mhm.
think people were like very
Yes.
inflamed over kind of nothing.
Yeah, like they were mad that a lot of people were mad that they were calling it cosplaying, having expensive things in her house, but like looking like they lived on a farm because they do live on a
They
farm.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that to me, that's just a matter of like what you like to buy. Like for me, like I literally have not bought new clothes in like 10,000 years. And I'm like, but like I have a red light machine. I have like a
Yeah.
nice home gym. You know what I mean? So it's just like, am I cosplaying as something? No, I just like I put my money in different areas, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's just
Totally.
a matter of that. So this New York Times article comes out. If you have not read it, we could put it in the show notes because it was a freaking good article. I have seen so much debate back and forth on the journalist had a motive, the journalist had an agenda because of the way it was written. But I actually saw, and I'm going to name her because I want to bring a cult survivor on because you who are listening know that should know, or not should, but probably hear by now that Allie and I are not the same level of like anti-religion. I think religion is cool, but Allie is more on the atheist side. But I don't subscribe to like one religion. And what I didn't realize until watching this, and this TikToker, her name is Carrie Huggins. She's a cult survivor, ex Jehovah's Witness, actually. She talked about what everyone kind of missed about this. And I was like, oh, wow, I did not pick that up. Because through the entire article, it really hints on how much Hannah has given up. So Hannah,
Yes.
the trad wife queen, and she doesn't call herself that, was at Juilliard. And to get into Juilliard, it's freaking hard. It's not like going to your local CCAC. It's hard.
You know what made
Like,
me sad? She was like,
oh, it was so
I was
sad.
like
It
a
was so
good
sad.
ballerina. Like
I know. It was sad.
to get into a school like that, you're not
Mhm.
good. You are excellent.
You're
You
you
are
are the
it's a
cream.
craft. You're
Yes, yes,
so that in a whole
yes.
just made me sad because she
You
is
could
living
tell.
in this reality of like, I was
Mhm.
good, but no, you were excellent. You were
Yes.
robbed.
Yes. And you can tell it seems like she did not really want this life, like of
Mm-mm.
living on a
Mm-hmm.
farm. They don't have any nannies. When she's talking about like how she had her last one or two births, they were medicated and she like said
One,
it
yeah.
once. One, her husband left the room and she was like, yeah, I got the epidural for that one, but he doesn't know. He's gonna know now. But so much of when you're reading the article, you can just see she has all these dreams and aspirations and she gets pulled into this life. And there was so much controversy. Like she's a woman with, autonomy. She chose this. But what I really loved about this TikToker is that she didn't choose that. She is a Mormon. She's in the religious cult, for lack of better words, because it is a cult. And am I freezing or did you freeze? Allie.
Just looked like I was frozen. Can you hear me? I can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah. You
Ah.
can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. She grew up Mormon and her husband is Mormon. And you can just see, and what she said in that TikTok video, and we'll put it below, is that a lot of the Mormon culture, they talk about suffering and you're suffering for God's plan. And throughout the whole article, it's like they were hitting on how she's suffering. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's such a good point. And it's like when you are brought up in those religious cults, like you don't like have a say. Like even like she didn't want to get married so fast. He got them engaged really quick.
Yep.
Even talking about how many kids, he's like, we have a kid every 9 months. Like it's like you could tell the rate at which they're having children is his decision, not hers. Like it was so interesting. I could go on
It's
about this like forever, but
yeah, we
it was
definitely
just
should do a deep dive because
yeah.
the gall on this man to tell his wife who he is supposed to love and respect and protect and view as an equal, right? Like you would hope that in a partnership. Oh, we're having babies every 9 months. Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah.
you were the one carrying our children. Nine
Yeah.
months? Ugh. That
And
whole article was infuriating and until I fell. So I have to go back and finish it. But what I read, I
it
was in
was, yeah, like, she had such big dreams to do so
yeah.
much of her life, and that's not to say you can't accomplish those things when you have children, but when you
No.
are in a religion where it is very much dictated by your husband, you are meant to suffer for your God, whoever that is,
Yep.
it is very indicative of how your life is going to be set for you, and you don't have as much choice. So people are like, "She chose this life." Not really. And this is why I really want to have
No.
a cult survivor on to talk
Yeah.
about this because,
Yeah. It's very
again,
ignorant to have that perspective. So that's
like
why
I am,
hearing from sorry to cut you off, hearing from
yeah.
somebody who has this real life experience,
hmm
that would, I hope to be very eye-opening to people that are of the
hmm
mindset that like you chose this.
Yeah, and it's like not that I'm not against religion, but it's also just interesting to see like when someone comes out and says like this is what happened to me in that religion. Like that's
Yeah.
like, oh wow. And there's bad things with everything. I'm sure you
Right.
could literally find any religion and be like this part's terrible, you know?
Yeah. There's
But
extremes of
yes. Yes.
everything. And
100%.
I don't believe necessarily in God. And I'm of the belief because like I have no proof to. And everything that I've been not taught by my parents. My dad is kind of like privately religious because he grew up in he was like basically like a ward of the state. So he grew up in like schools with like nuns. And so like they went to mass every day and everything. So he's very
Every
much
day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he went, it was this place called Nazareth. And so he went from up until he was like 12 or 13. And then because he was a ward of the state, he didn't have anywhere to go. He was like institutionalized. Like it was like kind of like a almost like juvie. Because he had like nowhere else to go. Reform school is what they called it. But he had like nowhere else to go. So he is definitely like privately religious. Like he never pushed anything on us. We did go to Catholic school. That was partly
That
because like
wasn't your choice though.
in
Yeah.
Boston, if you don't get into public schools, but like I think he also wanted us to just because of the values and all that. So I'm everything that I learned from in being in school and surrounded by that, I just don't prescribe to things that were taught to me. Um,
Mhm.
However, I am willing to accept that there are really great experiences with people in their religion and it brings them community.
Mhm.
But a lot of times we hear about these really sad and extreme stories, and it's happening to
Mhm.
more people than we know. And in her
Mhm.
case, this is something she grew up in, and this is a male dominated religion. She doesn't have as much choice. She's just supposed to be a mom and get married and have all these children and be subservient
Mhm.
and that's not her choice. And to say that
Mhm.
is just like completely ignorant. And as someone like myself, I would never say that because like you said, it wasn't my choice to go to like a Catholic school. That's just what I had to do. But as I grew up and formed my own opinion and I was allowed the space to, like if my family was ultra religious, I probably wouldn't have had the space to form my own opinions. So
Mhm.
that would be a really interesting conversation with that gal.
Yeah, yeah. She's an author. She's a
Wow.
mom of 7
Holy
because
shit.
she was in a cult, you know?
Sure. Wow.
But yeah, I'll have and I did comment on her TikTok and I was like, I'm definitely gonna cover this on our next episode and talk
Yeah.
about it. And she said, like, let me know if I can help. And I was like, you sure can.
Girl, oh wow. Wow. That would just be so so eye-opening. And with the whole
Mhm.
ballerina, excuse me, farms situation, The thing that really popped off, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was her birthday and she really wanted
Oh,
tickets to Greece. As
mm-hmm.
Maddy said, her husband is like the heir to JetBlue. Like his family owns JetBlue. They're millionaires. So one, it would be very easy to
No,
get
they're not millionaires. They're probably like close
billion,
to
sure,
billionaires.
billionaires. They have a lot of money, right? Money's not an issue. He could get tickets to Greece from just money, like he could spend it. His family owns JetBlue. Like they very easy to get these tickets. She opens a package for her birthday. He did not wrap it. He didn't wrap it, put it in a bag, nothing. It was just like the package that was shipped in the mail. And she was like so excited, hoping they were tickets to Greece. She keeps saying it. She opens it up. It is an apron to put eggs in from the chicken coop. So when you're out in the chicken coop, you're putting the eggs in your apron. And she looks so sad. She like kind of backs up, looks at it. She's trying to put on this like face because she's not
Mm-hmm.
probably not allowed to be defiant or express negative emotion. And she
Mm-hmm.
was kind of forced to say thank you because he's like, "You're welcome. You're welcome." And she's like, "Thank you." And like, "Oh, it's so cute."
Mm-hmm. It was sad. I know.
So sad. And if anybody after watching that video thinks that that is her choice, she has 8 children in the mix. It is no longer her choice to just be like, I'm gonna fucking up and leave. That is not something that is so easily done. And
No.
that's why I'm totally jazzed up about hoping we can get this survivor on because hearing her perspective and just her story would be so incredibly powerful.
That might have to be like a 3-part episode.
Hey, I'm here for it. You know me. You hit record and I won't shut the fuck up.
Whenever I was talking to Jesse yesterday, we did an hour because he was like limited, and he was like, "I could have kept talking with you for another hour." I'm like, "I have the gift of gab, I know."
Yes, yes, we truly do.
Yeah. So this is that end of the month, and we're gonna close her up there. Is there anything else you want to say real quick before I
Why
close
am I
up shop?
sad? I'm not done. Why am I sad? Like this, I want to keep going. This is crazy.
I know, but we are running out of time
I
because
know.
we are
Good
limited.
energy. All right,
Good
we're
energy.
gonna zip through it. So right now I have some one-on-one coaching spots open. I'll put the application in the bio. These are for my ladies that are getting overwhelmed with their nutrition and fitness. All right, we're going to simplify this. Losing weight does not have to be hard. Nutrition does not have to be hard. You're getting in your own way. If you're like, bitch, this is me, go apply below and we will chat. And I will be so delighted to talk with you. That is my, that's my 3-second pitch.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching the Kind of Hot, Kind of Healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this with your girlfriend who needs to hear this. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere where you can stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendships, health, and 1 or 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD at gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.